And we're back in the room.
Back in the room.
Back in the room. And this episode is for anyone who is wondering if ADHD was just oozing out of some people as well, not just you. Are there any
famous people? Yeah.
Some famous people. Are there any famous hidden people that we've not talked about? So let's go and I'll start again. Let's go to the place where the distractions are landmarks and the detours are the main roads. Welcome to ADHDville.
Distractions, landmarks, detours are the main roads. Yes, they are.
Famous people episode.
Distractions, landmarks, detours, main roads, etc. Hello, welcome to ADHDville. And I'm Paul Thompson, and I was diagnosed with the ADHD just over some yonks ago.
And I'm Martin Weston. I was diagnosed with the combined poo-poo platter in 2013.
Yeah. Well, what's on the poo-poo platter? Is it like a cheese platter?
It is. It is a platter of poo, ADHD pooiness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it is.
So we're just two mates, not two, not four, not 17, two mates who, by coincidence or not, after 39 years of friendship, discover, it's almost 40 years actually, discover that we're co-ADHDers. Who'd have thought it? Now, it's really important to say this is an entertainment podcast about adult ADHD and does not substitute for individualized advice from qualified health professionals. So don't take any advice from him.
Or him.
We're just here with some kind of all-inclusive ADHD part base with room for everyone, including your doppelgangers, your alter egos, your buddy doubles, your chaperones, and even your best buddies. Still here? Congratulations. Then grab your jetpacks, your pedalos, your space hoppers, your kayaks, and any other transportation methods that let us take you to ADHDville, an imaginary town we've created in our minds, where we like to explore different parts of the A, the D, the H, and the D again.
We start off, as we are now, in the King's agitated head, in the centre of ADHDville, where we, the ex-mayors of ADHDville, take care of business. And this week, we've just done two interview guest episodes. So this one's more fun. We thought we would do a sort of a light-hearted little bit of fun.
A detour.
Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to learn about some famous people. Famous people, Paul.
Yes.
Don't you know?
And as ever, we've not compared notes. No, we haven't.
No, we haven't. We haven't.
No, we haven't. No, we haven't compared notes. So I'm interested. I was preparing for this, Martin. I was thinking, I wonder if Martin's got the same peeps. What if, because we've got 10 total, 5 each, okay, 5 from each of the co-mayors, okay. What if, ex-mayors, what if our 5, because we don't know yet, they're the same as each other's?
Yeah. Well, I have some backup famous people who potentially have ADHD, just in case.
I've got no backups.
You know what I'm saying, lad? I got some backup. Ooh.
Backup.
All right.
To me, to you.
Let's jump into our backup mode of transportation, the tractor. And where should we go, Paul? Tell us where we are going.
Let's go to the library, Martin. Just saying, spontaneously.
Learn things.
Where we go to learn. Things. Read up on some, old people.
Right.
Dead
Hop
people.
In. Now doing. Is the library library, so we're going to have to be a bit quiet. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I don't want to
It
get that
reminds me
sort
of
of
that
like,
joke.
shh.
Reminds me of that joke, Martin.
What's that?
A man goes into this place and he says, Can I have 2 cod and 2 chips, please? And the lady goes up to him and says, excuse me, sir, this is a library. He said, oh, sorry, 2 cod, 2 chips, please.
I'm just wondering whether you said that joke the last time we were in the library. If he did,
oh, God.
let us know in the comments.
Oh,
all
God.
right. So,
all right, okay.
So what we've done, right? We have come up with 10 people who are not the classic. Well, we've classic people
Well, why not?
who have ADHD. They're trying to be a little bit different from the kind of the normals, if you like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not. Everyone talks about, and there's some usual suspects. Everyone talks about. Who do they talk about?
Leonardo da Vinci comes up a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I've got one of mine is kind of you might have heard in terms of being associated with ADHD, but the others not. I suspect.
How did you do your research?
Randomly,
I did mine.
What? I went all over the place. I tried to mix it up with contemporary and antique and historical, not so antique historical figures. Mixed it up. I haven't got none of mine are still alive.
Neither are mine. They're all deed.
Oh, okay.
They're all very much deed.
Okay, they're all pushing up daisies.
Very much so. So just to let you know how I did my research was I got onto AI and I said, right, look at all the characteristics of ADHD, right? Then create a list of all the famous people, and then I want you to cross-reference and see if you can find some people who display ADHD characteristics but are not traditionally known as having ADHD.
Yes.
So so I use the power of the AIs to create my list.
Well, do we want to put out the list up the front, or do you want to discover them as and when?
We will discover them as we go. So
do you want to start then?
I will start.
Do you want to take the plunge?
Yeah, I will start with my opening salvo. Is
cross the bows.
Right. Is this scientist, this French physicist and mathematician who founded the field of electromagnetism, André Marie Ampère, 1775 to 1836. So that's where you get
amps.
That's where you get the amps from. So he discovered amps. I don't know whether he was looking under a log or he dug a hole or but he found some amps and went, that's amps, that is. So his ADHD like traits, if you like. So Ampere was known for his hyper focus on scientific problems, often forgetting to eat or sleep. He was also highly impulsive, jumping from one idea to another, and struggled with organization in his personal life. His notebooks were famously chaotic, Paul, filled with scattered ideas and calculations. So not officially diagnosed with ADHD, but kind of had some of those characteristics, Paul.
Yeah,
you know
sounds
what I'm
suspicious.
saying?
It sounds suspicious.
Like my little nose is going. So here's my so he's quite
interesting.
So Ampere's ability to hyper focus on complex problems led to groundbreaking discoveries, but on the downside, his impulsivity and disorganization made his personal life a mess. But it is a good example of ADHD traits can fuel creativity and innovation. Mr. T.
Okay. Well, based on that, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna I'm gonna throw one into the mix as well. It's not in the order I did it, but because of you introduced that personality, I'm going to put in my number 3
Okay.
of my list.
Yeah.
Is a is an ancient Greek statesman called Demosthenes. Okay, he
Oh,
was
the Greek.
known
Mm-hmm.
for known for his stirring, seemingly effortless speaking ability, but his oratory prowess was the result of a rigorous and often outlandish work regime.
Oh, wow.
He spent long hours studying rhetoric and law in a specially made underground study and trained with an actor to learn how to properly control his body movements, stimming.
Uh-huh.
To, to defeat also a lisp and shortness of breath.
Oh,
Demosthenes practiced speaking with pebbles in his mouth,
wow.
shouted his speeches aloud while running uphill, even belted them out over the sound of crashing waves at the beach. But that's not the strangest thing he did.
All right.
Strangest of all was his strategy for fighting procrastination. Do you see where I'm going?
Oh.
As a young man, Demosthenes shaved off all of the hair on one side of his head in the hope that if he made himself look ridiculous, he would be more inclined to stay at home and concentrate on his studies.
I love it.
That's mental.
I love that. I love that.
There you go. If you get that a lot in the ADHD kind of podcasts, right? When people say, "Oh, we've got this," what do they call them? Not techniques. What do they call them? Help.
Hacks.
Hacks. An ADHD hack. Shave off one side of your hair
Mm-hmm.
to
Right.
stop yourself from procrastinating. Stay at home until it grows back.
That's funny because I was thinking that sounds like it was sounding like quite autistic for a while, and then it kind of bent back round again to the kind of
Yes.
ADHD-ness.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I just want to say I had to read through about 8 or 9 different Greek personalities before I picked out this one out of the crop.
Before he spoke to you,
He
like,
spoke to me, and there was some hot competition from Greek ancient historical figures. I can assure you,
oh, I
like
bet.
King Solomon had 700 wives
Is
that
that
he
an
got through,
ADHD trait?
not
Just saying.
including instability, not including lovers.
I mean, he had the
You
cash.
know,
Clearly, he had
yes, get the
the
minds.
means to kind of support
Yes,
a huge harem.
yes,
Blimey,
700.
I know
Okay,
because
okay,
all right, I like him.
interesting.
I like him.
Yep.
All right, my number 2,
Mhm.
famous American, Harriet Tubman,
Okay.
1822 to
Mm.
1913. So
Yes.
she is a famous African American abolitionist and political activist who escaped slavery and then made 13 missions to rescue around 70 enslaved people. Um, this was before the Civil War, somewhere around there. And she was also a nurse, a Union spy, and a women's suffragette supporter. Now, what ADHD traits did she have? Again,
Right.
we're not saying she
Well,
had
it is.
ADHD, but it's just kind of like she had some traits. So she was incredibly. She had this incredible ability to take risks, think on her feet, adapt to rapidly changing situations. This aligns with ADHD traits like impulsivity and hyperfocus under pressure. She also had a knack for spatial navigation and memorizing complex routes, which could be linked to ADHD heightened spatial awareness. So,
Wow.
yeah, so she had a few little kind of traits because she was busy saving slaves, and
Okay.
and so she was a wanted woman. So I think she was only like 5 foot or something. So she was a little tiny
Blimey.
powerhouse.
Okay. She was.
But
Okay.
there was,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah. There's something I've actually got something very similar to that, Martin.
okay.
So there seems to be there's definitely a synergy between miraculously a certain synergy. My number two
Hmm.
is Maya Angelou,
Oh yes,
black activist from 19. Well, she was born in 1928, died. Blimey, she died 11 years ago.
I know.
Bloody
I
hell!
remember that day.
Amazing, amazing woman. I remember the first time I ever came across her, and she just has this like aura of just magnificence about her. I was just totally captivated by her.
Yeah,
Um,
my wife introduced me to her.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. I mean, just really kind of like pointing towards what you were just saying, Martin, about your example. Just an incredibly active lady and did so many things. She was the first black female to work as a cable car conductor in San Francisco, right? Uh,
Nice.
she she had her first child when she was had her son when she was 17 years old. The same year she wrote her first autobiography, which is a very famous autobiography called I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, that she wrote in
Oh yeah.
1969. Same year she gave birth, right? Okay. Also, by the way, her son delivered her child. Okay,
Oh wow.
sorry, her mother delivered her son.
Oh
Okay,
okay. That makes more sense.
okay. At some point, she was also she worked as a prostitute and a pimp for lesbians.
Oh blimey.
Okay, all over the place. Very good friend of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, to the point when Martin Luther King was assassinated. It happened to be her 40th birthday, and she never celebrated her birthday ever again after that as a respect. Okay.
All right.
So what I think what oh so then I was kind of looking into her, and she did something amazing when she was writing her book. So she was, I guess, 16 at this point, so it's a year before it was actually published. To get herself concentrated, okay, and not procrastinate and getting her book done, she typically rented rooms for months at a time. Arrived early in the hotel rooms. Arrived early in the morning, armed with only her writing materials and a Bible, a bottle of sherry, and a deck of cards, which she claimed helped her busy little mind. She then ensured that the rooms were as sparse and and free of um, um, potential what do you call them, distractions as possible. Okay, and she
Hmm.
would do that until she'd finished writing the book, like checking into herself into the most ridiculously sparse hotel rooms as possible, and having as little furniture as possible until she got it done. That is really cool. Thought,
Yeah.
yeah. And generally, I picked her out just because I don't know, she came out as like, there's nothing written anywhere that she's ADHD,
Oh,
but
I
probably
was
because no one.
actually looking online at psychology
Right.
today, and
All
she
right.
pops up, um, and they say something like American poet Maya Angelou is frequently quoted in discussions about ADHD, and her words: "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be
Right.
necessary to encounter the defeats, so you
Mm,
can know who you are, what you can
mm.
rise from, and how you can come out of it." So
Yes. Oh, that's interesting. She also said, I think it was actually some wasn't something she said. It was actually something she quoted. It was like someone said to her, "You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anyone," which I thought was really really cool, especially for like ADHD women who often and men, but often had people saying to them that they were too much.
Mm-hmm.
And so this came into mind, Maya Angelou saying, "You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anyone." I thought it was really
Yeah.
cool.
Nice. Good addition.
Okay.
I have one which I feel like now on reflection he might be fairly obvious. So Nikola Tesla,
Okay.
1856 to 1943. He was a Serbian American inventor, electrical engineer, and futurist, best known for his contribution to the design of the modern alternating current, i.e., AC. He was also like an inventor and stuff.
And stuff.
And stuff. So why does he fit the bill? Because Tesla was known for his intense hyperfocus, often working for days without sleep. Mr. Thompson.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
He also exhibited impulsivity, jumping from one project to another, and struggled with
Hmm.
social interactions and emotional regulation. Yes, he did not get on with people that well. I seem to remember. I think
Yes.
he fell out with Edison as well. I think he
Hmm.
worked for Edison for a while. Um, so yeah,
Sounds
he.
very similar to Isaac Newton. Exactly the
Oh
same kind
yeah,
of thing going on with
and
him.
here we go. Here's nice little interesting thing. His obsessive tendencies and sensory sensitivities. So he had an aversion for round objects,
Oh,
like a
wow.
sphere. Like he
Wow.
just didn't like round things.
Oh, how funny.
Ooh, I know,
Oh,
right?
okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Would
he's my
that
number three. What you
my
got?
number? I've got. It's actually my number four, but it's actually now going to become number three because it kind of like tags on nicely to yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Einstein. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my five, one of the more obvious ones. But he had a thing. You talking about spheres, spherical objects?
Mm-hmm.
Einstein
Balls.
had a thing about socks. Never
Oh
wore
well,
socks in
that's.
his life.
Oh
Texture stuff
really?
going on. Yeah, yes, clearly got a stuff. His like thing with textures. You
Right,
know.
because I was having a conversation with Alexandra the other day about socks,
Uh,
about not being able to bear not having socks and just wearing being completely
yeah.
like sockless in shoes and just
Mm-hmm.
having your feet
Okay.
rattling around.
Yes.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I
He
can't
he
do that.
ne. No, I can't. I
Can't do
can't
it.
wear socks in bed though. I find it really annoying. But he never wore socks in his life ever. In
Jesus.
fact, to the point where he just thought they were complete socks were pointless.
Actually, I don't think Jesus wore socks his entire life either. Coming to think about it.
Yeah, that's yep. Okay. Einstein was also famous for his napping. Okay.
Hmm.
He he would regularly take naps and often slept for at least 10 hours a night.
Good napper.
Good
Solid
napper.
solid napper.
Um, he had an obsession, Martin Einstein.
Yes.
He would often build houses of cards. You know those like triangular shapes you make with playing cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would. One time, he even built a playing card triangle, like build house of cards, that was 14 stories high.
Hey, what? Oh,
14.
you mean in okay, yes. You mean
So you can imagine a
14
sockless
card
Albert
letters.
Einstein. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Stacks.
That's
So you
that's
imagine a sockless Einstein doing a 14-story house of cards
right.
structure.
Yeah,
Okay.
but just just imagine you kind of walk in, hey Einstein, You just give him a bit of a nudge, and then oops,
Yeah.
accidentally hit it, and the whole thing. Actually, you know what? I'm just thinking about the whole thing coming down. Right? I'm just thinking how satisfying it would be to build a huge
Yeah.
pyramid, and then you go
Hmm.
right. Well, that's that now, and I'm just gonna. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, like, if you've spent that amount of time putting it together, you must
Mm.
at least give some thought as to how you're going to take it all down. Like, are you just going to take one card
Yeah.
from the bottom, and which one would you
I
take?
bet he did. I bet he
Yeah,
did. I think it was quite childish.
I think it was like, right, I'm going to take this specific card, and then it's all just going to implode in a certain way.
Yeah. 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 Totally.
Mm.
Um. He also had an obsession with spaghetti.
Spaghetti, like, oh,
Spaghetti, and he said um, it's well
he's
known. He had consumed huge amounts of carbohydrates. Okay, which apparently is quite good for the brain, even though it has quite carbohydrates is like a fairly bad reaction afterwards. You get like a peak of energy, but it actually falls off very
and then you
quickly. Like
right, and then you have a carb crash, and you fall
carb
fall asleep.
crash. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which leads to like my final fact about Einstein. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he, the average brain, okay,
I have an
weighs
average brain.
1.4 grams. Okay,
Right. Mine's probably like
okay,
1.1. I think I'm sort of
his
missing some important chunks,
right.
Paul.
What Einstein's was 1.2.
Oh, there you go.
Quite a lot smaller than the average brain. So when people
Right.
say, "Oh, they're big brains," large foreheads,
Mm-hmm.
because they've got to take these huge fucking brains. Because
Right.
Einstein's was much smaller than the average brain.
Wow.
So
I like him
dispelling some
already.
myths there.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like him for his tiny brain. Um, oh, well, he was probably just
Okay.
sort of missing the bit about socks. I think that's probably like that was part of
Right.
it. Was the bit of the
Yeah.
brain that could get your head around socks. That wasn't
Yeah.
there
And
clearly.
textures in general.
Hmm.
Also, a massive walker. He walked. I forgot to put it in there, but I was reading. He was every day. He was obsessed with taking at least a 45-minute walk. So all of these things, I think, are pointing towards a little bit of autism.
Yeah,
For he needed the walks to clear his mind. That's not
I know.
even not even neurotypicals to do the same, of course. But I would suggest, I put it to you,
Hmm.
dear audience, that ADHDers need more than neurotypicals do.
I do like a
Clearing
walk.
mind. Yeah.
I do like a walk. All right, number 4 on my list. We have someone that you know, that I know, that we know.
Oh.
Agatha Christie, 1890
Ah.
to 1976.
Right.
1976, Paul. She died in
Yes.
1976. She died when we
1976.
were alive.
Do you know where I was in 1976?
What?
Scotland.
Ah, you're in Scotland, were you? You
I
wee
was.
little body
I was a
lad.
wee bairn. I was still a wee bairn.
Oh, Scrivens. That's nice. I don't. What were you doing in Scotland
There's a
in
golf tournament.
1976 for a golf
Yeah.
tournament?
Yes.
All right. Who was it?
Yeah.
Jack Nicholas was
Nicholas.
playing what?
No. Well, yes, he was. So was
Yeah,
Gary Player.
there we go.
Even to the extent Gary Player, I was standing like at the back of the green, and
Right.
Gary Player was lining up his putt like, and
Hmm.
I had such shocking white hair. Okay, standing there like a fucking lighthouse. Okay, he asked me to move. I was in the line and distracting his sight.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. You're so distracting with your white hair, like shining like a
Yeah.
beacon.
Yes.
There. that fucking kid over there, just
There, could you?
fucking just fucking just get
Chick.
out of my way.
He took me
I-
to one side and left me there like,
Oh my god, I love this
yeah,
story. I think you've said this before, but
yeah,
literally 40 years ago or
yeah,
something like that.
probably. Yeah, yeah. So
Love that movie.
1976 was,
Yes.
so she died in 76. Okay.
Right. Sorry. Yes. Back to Agatha Christie. Who is
Yeah.
she? Well, if you don't know, she is a British author who was known for her detective novels, including Murder on the Orient Express and
Mm-hmm.
the detective Hercule Poirot with the little
Huh.
grey cells. And she is one of the best-selling authors of all time.
All time.
Of all time.
All time.
Now then, where does she fall in with the ADHD-ness, we ask?
Yes.
So, Christie
Yeah,
was
we're all
known for her
itching.
restless energy and inability to sit still, often pacing while dictating her stories. She also struggled with organization and time
Yes.
and management, frequently missing deadlines. Her ability to hyperfocus on plotting intricate mysteries, however, was unparalleled.
Okay. I don't know where this Geordie accent's coming from, did you?
I don't
Like,
know. I don't know.
I hope I hope we haven't got any Geordie listeners because they'll all be toning off in their droves,
They'd be
like
like, what the
these
fuck are they doing?
soft
Yeah.
Southerners. Okay.
So again, not saying that she has ADHD, but there are
No.
some
Hmm.
characteristics in there floating around
Okay.
like.
Floating around. Well, I've got something similar, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar. I've got Charles Ludwig Dodgson, otherwise known as Lewis Carroll.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
That Lewis Carroll.
And Alice in Wonderland, and the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Oh, I thought you
Right.
said Alice in Wonderland 2, The Revenge.
Yes. And this time it's personal. Right. No. Like people like Einstein and Newton, they all struggled with conventional academic methods. They got struggled with studies, hated school, procrastinator, blah blah blah. Didn't really get through their kind of like get into education until they just started doing it on their own terms. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but okay, specifically we talk about Alice's Wonders. Sorry, when we talk about his book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Okay,
Right. Mm-hmm.
it could be seen that the book relates to ADHD in a number of ways. The
Okay.
character of Alice, for example,
Yes.
might be seen as a blend of his observation of young girls that he had as friends, including a girl called Alice, and his own feelings, the writer's feelings, therefore semi autobiographical, own feelings of isolation and eccentricity,
Right.
like, for example, being easily distracted. Throughout the book, Alice often distracted by strange events, people, and animals, and her attention is constantly shifting from one thing to another. Two,
Two.
impulsivity. Alice often makes impulsive decisions without fully thinking them through, such as following the right rabbit or engaging in bizarre conversations with Wonderland characters, not always thinking about not always considering the consequences.
Mm-hmm. Eat me, drink me.
Restless souls. Yeah, exactly. Number three, restless souls. In Wonderland, things move quickly, and Alice seems to be constantly on the go, moving from one strange encounter to another. This mirrors the restlessness often felt by individuals with ADHD who might have difficulty staying still or focusing on a single task for long periods of time. Okay,
All right.
number four, getting there, almost
Four.
finished. Inconsistent time perceptions. In
Mm-hmm.
Wonderland, time is
Yes.
depicted as being fluid and strange, which may reflect people with ADHD. How sometimes
Mm.
ADHD people experience time. They may lose track of time, feel rushed, or struggle with managing time effectively.
Yes.
Number 5,
5.
difficulty in self-regulation. Alice's
Okay.
emotional and behavioral responses vary throughout the story, sometimes showing frustration, confusion, or excitement in reaction to the chaotic world around her.
Mm.
Neurotypical.
All right.
6, and last but
Oh,
not
right.
least,
Okay.
non-linear thinking and creativity. Wonderland itself is a bizarre, nonsensical place where logic doesn't always apply. There you go.
All right. I
So,
like that. All
hmm.
right. Could be the whole. Yeah. All right. All right. Okay. Lewis Carroll.
I
Yeah.
was also always really drawn to the idea that it's actually not from his original book, but it's in the Disney version of the original Disney version of the book. When Alice says at one point, "Have I gone completely mad? I'm afraid so. You're completely bonkers, and I'll tell you a secret: all the best people are."
There we
I
go.
often had, I've always lived a long time, Martin, thinking that some of my best friends, Martin,
Mm-hmm.
are completely bonkers.
There we go. And to have you as a friend, we are completely
Exactly,
bonkers. Um.
bonkers. Does that
Oh,
does that work in America? Bonkers? Can you say bonkers and people will
yeah.
understand,
I think so.
or is it
I
a
reckon so.
English thing? Okay, all right,
Um.
bonkers.
I know it is funny because as a Brit in the States, you kind of say things that you assume is common knowledge and everyone gets, and then everyone stares at you blankly, like,
Yeah,
what the hell are you
right.
talking about? And then you have to find yourself
Yeah,
explaining it. It's so awkward.
yeah.
Um, all right, my last one, number 5, Lord, Lord, Lord Byron, 1788,
Lord Byron.
1824. Lord
Okay.
Byron, the flamboyant and boisterous British poet and leading figure in the romantic movement, romantic, okay, known for works like Don Juan, and his friends were like,
And the
he hung
sequel,
out with
Don 2.
Don Tor, Don Juan and Don Tor.
The Don.
Oh yeah, I spat then. Oh yeah, so yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he was, yeah, I mean, he hung out with Mary Shelley and all of that lot.
Yes.
And she wrote Frankenstein and all kinds of interesting stuff. So why is he ADHD like? Well, Byron was famously impulsive both in his writing and life. He struggled with mood swings, restlessness, and a tendency to procrastinate, often writing entire poems in a single burst of hyperfocus. His chaotic lifestyle and numerous scandals also suggested difficulties with self-regulation and risk-taking. He was very much an emotionally fueled individual.
Wow.
I'm just trying to
He's
think.
he's a fascinating character, Mr. Byron.
He's a fascinating character. He's Mr. Byron. I think he appears in. Does he appear in Blackadder?
Oh, probably.
I think he does. I think he does.
Yeah. Okay. And did you know that if ADHD or autism is hereditary, right? His
Right.
daughter, the daughter of Lord Byron,
Mm-hmm.
a lady called Ada Lovelace, couldn't make it
Oh
up.
yes.
Ada Lovelace. Okay. It's commonly thought that she was actually the first person to have
Computing.
designed a computer,
Yeah, I was reading that.
invented the computer. So she wasn't even a man that invented computer. It was Ada Lovelace.
All
And
right.
there's books where she's written all of her theories to prove it.
Wow. I mean, imagine you build the computer and then you kind of go on it and go right. Well, let
It
me go
says
on.
here
Let me go on the
she was
internet.
she was the first to recognize that the machine had applications beyond pure calculation. And
Hmm.
this is like she died in 1852, just to give you an idea of like
Right.
when we're talking about here.
She was like, I can invent something that will be good to hyperfocus. That you could
Yeah.
something that
I mean, what an amazing brain.
right. Yeah.
Amazing.
Hmm.
Okay.
Lovely. You're number 5 then, Mr. T.
Yeah, last but not least, I've got Caravaggio. Always love a
The
bit of Caravaggio. I mean,
the
his
painter.
story is the painter,
The painter,
famously a
like.
bit of a hothead, ridiculous, massive rejection, RDS going
Right.
on.
Sensitivity dysphoria.
Couldn't stand being criticized, stuff like that. Um, Massively obsessive in terms of time management. There's once famous for painting for 2 straight weeks without sleeping.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Two
What are you
weeks
doing?
without sleeping. Yeah,
That's that's like a manic episode. That is. That is
that
like
is
a that
bizarre,
is
isn't it?
mania.
That is mania.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That's a
it's just an
whole other
amazing
thing.
character. I mean, there's a great book about Caravaggio, written by a writer called Peter Robb. Really cool biography of his. Well worth reading if anyone wants to do that. Really cool,
Uh,
amazing character.
he should have an interesting death. Uh, he died in 1610 under
Yes,
uncertain circumstances while on his way to Naples, stating that he had a fever. But
yeah,
suggestions have been that he was murdered. Murdered.
murdered, murdered,
He was
murdered.
murdered. Yeah, yeah.
I
Um,
hope Jenny isn't watching this episode because she's going to crucify our Scottish accent. Well,
yeah,
attempted Scottish accent.
I know it's terrible. I don't know what's come over us. I don't know
Sorry,
what has come
Jenny.
over us
Yes.
at all.
But yeah,
Caravaggio.
Caravaggio's all over the place, in terms of like procrastination and time management, and
Hmm.
yeah, generally a bit of a what was it? So, as I was once described, a loose cannon. There you go.
A loose cannon. Well, a lot of those artistic types, they were. I don't know what it is about this episode, but there's been a lot of crazy regional accents going on in
Yeah,
this.
it's weird, isn't it? There's a
it's just taken
it's a
over
full
like a
moon.
sort of a
Yeah.
like a sort of fever, like a strange fever's come over us. I don't know why. I think it's infectious. There's something infectious
Something
going
in the
on.
water. Something in the
Yeah,
water.
there's something in the water like. Wow, that was a good list of 10. I've got
Yeah.
I've got a couple of honourable mentions that
Mm.
came up. Florence Nightingale, the lady with a lamp. She was a nurse in the Crimean War, founder of
Yes.
modern nursing, known for her relentless energy and hyper-focus on reforming
Yes.
healthcare, but also struggled with
Okay.
restlessness and perfectionism. Yeah,
Oh, okay. It's
yeah,
rife.
it is. And Emily Dickinson, poet. Intense focus
Uh
on
huh.
poetry and reclusive nature could suggest hyperfocus, while her struggles with social interactions and emotional regulation align with ADHD traits. So, a couple of extra little
Okay.
bonus characters.
Nice.
Oh, right. Well,
Alrighty.
I hope there's some interesting people in there for you peeps at home. If there's anyone that
Mm-hmm.
has got ADHD, stick them in the comments. Stick them in the
Yeah.
comments. Tell us
Yeah.
who your favorite one is.
Some of our suggestions in this episode, purely, um, you know, just guesswork, really. They just
Speculation.
seem that speculation. They just, read through them. Even just like minimum of research, you're thinking, oh yeah, there's some stuff going on there. Yeah,
Right.
I
There
almost
is.
put in Isaac Newton as well, but I didn't in the end.
All right.
But Isaac Newton's is oozing with it,
Oozing.
especially with rejection RDS.
All right. All right. RSD.
RSD.
Whoa. I just hit the wrong button and suddenly I had a crazy voice in my head. Right. Okay. Well,
Right.
shall we
Should we
jump back in the
move
tractor
towards? Yes.
and we'll head towards the post office?
Let's
Let's
do that.
go.
Let's go. Let's perch.
Get in. Mind the gear stick. It'll be painful. They don't
Okay.
want to be sitting on that.
Did you remember to take the plough off the back, or is it still
No. No, I've
hooked on?
just no.
We're
I've
going
just
to plough
actually.
through the high street.
Yeah, there is a rather nice groove running right up the high street now.
Plough the high street. But we're not mayors anymore. We don't care.
No, what do we care? Yeah, the current mayor can sort that out.
Exactly. We
right.
screwed up his budget for the year for road repairs.
That's what we do best, screwing up the budget. I think that's why we're in this problem to begin with.
But I think we've resolved his pothole problem.
Yes, he's got a matching set now.
Plough through all those potholes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So anyway, we're at the post office, as we often do on our episodes. At this point, I should say that your feedback is really vital to us, and we read all of your comments, and we might read out yours on a future podcast, like this one, Martin, from Alexandra on YouTube's.
She says of the last episode, so that's episode 75 with Jenny Lucas as a guest.
Yes.
She says, lovely episode, so relatable. And then there's a lot of paragraphs after that which are fun to read. So if you are listening to this,
it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. I think we both, after the episode we finished recording, we both had the same feeling of it being like cuddling up to a warm pillow. And it was like it's just like a really nice episode.
It was
chilled and just like nice.
It was. All right, so that just leaves me to say that ADHDville is delivered fresh every Tuesday to all purveyors of fine podcasts. Please subscribe to the pod and rate us most magnificent, and feel free to correspond at will in the comments. But wait, there's more. If you wish to see our beautiful, beautiful faces,
hello,
then sally forth to the YouTubes and to the TikToks.
Yes.
You can also find us on Substack. What?
What?
So you can also pick up a quill and email us at ADHDville@gmail.com. But in the meantime, be fucking kind to yourself.
And I beseech you, fellow ADHDers, know thyselves, sons of the hounds, come hither and get the flesh.
Ho ho ho.
Oh.
There, says the mayor. That's that.